Happy Thursday. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well and you're enjoying the sunshine again. Man, we have had so much sunshine lately. It's been so nice. Mrs. Price just wanted to start with lesson 17. Remember I told you yesterday on the video that I was going to go through number 3 again, just for those of you that might be a little bit stumped by this. And I thought I would come down here to D. So if you've already done D, this would be a really good time to maybe check your work and see how you did. So we have 1 1/10 minus 7/10. And remember, if you go back up here to the directions, they want you to find the difference in 2 ways. Use number bonds to decompose the total, okay? All right, so here we go. We are going to, and I have a scratch sheet of paper over here. First, we're going to decompose our mixed fraction. Now remember, a mixed fraction is a whole number and then a proper fraction, okay? All right, so if I decompose this, I know if I look at my denominator, I have tenths. And if I'm making one whole, it's 10 tenths. And then my remainder, of course, is 1/10. Okay, so that's the first step right there. Now the second step is they're going to start out and add. So remember, we're starting out with this 10 tenths. Okay, so we're going to do 10 tenths plus 1/10, which equals 11 tenths. And remember, now you have your improper fraction, right? Your equivalent to the mixed fraction. All right, so then you take 11 tenths and you're going to subtract 7 tenths. And that's going to give you your answer of 4 tenths, because 11 minus 7 is 4. Okay, so that's your answer. That's one way to solve it. Another way to solve it is to take your 10 tenths. Actually, I'm going to do it underneath so you guys can see. You're going to take 10 tenths, and you're going to go ahead and subtract 7 tenths, which is going to give you 3 tenths. Okay. And then you take that 3 tenths and you're going to add this little guy right here. We can't forget about this little guy. So if we add 1/10, what does that give you? 4 tenths. So see, and this is, it's great to do it this way, because when you do it both ways, you know, you should be getting the same answer. If your answers are off, then that automatically tells you that you're missing something. You might be doing something incorrectly. But like I said yesterday, if you feel more comfortable taking these out, don't even worry about these, decomposing this mixed fraction and creating your improper fraction and then subtracting, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you as well. So you would still start out with your number bond, right? 10 tenths and 1/10. And then you would add those together, which that's going to give you 11 tenths. So that would be your improper fraction. And then you just finish the rest of the equation, right? So 11 minus 7 is 4, and it's 4 tenths. So any of these ways are fine. They're just encouraging you to do both of these to challenge yourself, but if this makes more sense for your brain, then that's what I would do. So that's your kind of review for from yesterday for number 3. And now we're gonna move on to lesson 18, which is the last lesson that you guys had on this packet. And I'm gonna have to stick my water on my paper because my paper wants to move when I am trying to write. And honestly, this lesson is great because it's really just kind of a review of everything that you've done this week. Just adding and subtracting fractions. And so I'm going to look at they've done problem A for you. Okay. So they gave you the fractions 1/8, 3/8, and 4/8. And so what they want you to do is just try to find 3 different ways to add it. Now, if you are racking your brain and you can only come up with 2 ways, you know what? That is perfectly fine. Just try to see, as many ways as you can think of to add these fractions. So if you look at the first strategy that they used, they just added 1/8 and 3/8, which gave them 4, and they just added 4/8, and it gave them 8/8. The second way, they decided to add 3/8 and 4/8, which is 7/8. They added that 8, and it's 8/8. And again, this is good because if you keep coming up with the same answer, it's a good way to double check and make sure you're correct. And then this over here, they just wrote the equation, probably mentally added them in their heads, right? You can easily add 7 plus 1 is 8. And then they went a step further. They took this improper fraction. Remember, improper is if the numerator and the denominator are equal, it's improper. And we know this is a whole number, it equals 1. So 3 different ways of solving the equation, okay? So I thought I would come down here to number D and work through that one with you. Okay, that's a subtraction problem. So let's see how many ways we can figure out how to solve 1 minus 3/12 minus 5/12. So I'm going to write that up here in my box. Now remember, you can use a scratch sheet of paper, or you could probably fit it inside of these boxes this time. You have a little bit more room. Okay, well, when I look at this, the first thing that comes to my mind is I have to convert this whole number into a fraction, right? Which means I'm going to have to decompose it. So I'm going to decompose it with my number bond, right? And I know that my denominator is 12, which means it's going to be 12/12. And actually, I didn't really need to make a number bond. I just know that I can decompose it into 12/12. And then I might say, okay, so 12/12 minus 3/12 is 9/12, right? But I'm not finished yet. Then I'm going to take that 9/12 and I still have to subtract 5/12. And I know that 9 minus 5 is 4. So my answer is 4/12. Okay? So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, let me write it up here. And actually, if you want to, you could just, that one whole is going to be 12/12. So you could just write the improper fraction. Okay. I might come down here and I might say, you know what, let's subtract these two first. So 12/12 minus 5/12 equals 7/12, right? And then I still have to get this little guy. So 7/12 minus 3/12 equals 4/12. So this is good. So I'm coming up with the same answer, which is a good way to double check your work. And then I could come over here and I don't know, is there another way that I could solve this? I could kind of copy what they did right here. So I'm going to go ahead and write my improper fraction. It's easier than writing 1. So 12/12 minus 3/12 minus 5/12. And that's good mental math. So 12 minus 3 is 9, and 9 minus 5 is 4. So I know it's 4/12. So again, you come up with as many ways as you possibly can to solve it. And yeah, good luck. Have fun with it. It's your very last lesson this week. If you need help, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Otherwise, send me pictures of your work or videos of your work. I want to see what you're up to. All right, guys, take care. I miss you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.